what does weight really mean to you as a man in today's society that cares about fitness? I feel like weight is something that is kind of thrown about a lot, but means something very, very different for each individual. Like, you've got a lot of people who care about being light because it demonstrates that they're lean. You got a lot of people that care about being heavy because it demonstrates that they're carrying a fair amount of mass. But then you have to take into consideration the ways in which we hold weight, right? The way in which our bodies are composed. Some of us may look like we weigh 120 kilos, but only weigh 90. Some of us may look like we only weigh 70 kilos, but weigh 90. And why that is, weirdly, I find kind of crazy that, like, from what I can find anyway, science doesn't really know yet, because depending on who you are, some people will claim that the idea of like bone density and muscle density is kind of a myth. Some people swear by it, because how else do you explain those people who look small but weigh a lot? Some people will correlate like your heritage, your genetic background, to you being predisposed to having dense bones or dense muscle mass, so on and so forth. And unfortunately, it's a question that, like, I can't answer. I've never actually found an answer to. Personally, I've always gravitated towards the idea that, yes, like, you could be genetically predisposed to having more dense bones and more dense muscles. Therefore, you may be heavier than somebody who's even bigger than you, but is genetically predisposed to being a little bit more light, a little bit more buoyant. I guess we see it in swimming, right? It's a common joke with regards to people of African descent not doing well in Olympic swimming, relative to people of Caucasian descent. There's a lot of theories based on denser bones, denser muscles means that we're less buoyant in the water. I, for one, can't float to save my life. However, I've known people of similar like heritage to myself who've been able to float. And then the one person in my life who's always been able to float is my mum, and she is Caucasian, right? So it's an interesting one. Like, me personally, like, weight has always been, it's kind of always been at the forefront of my mind in some capacity. I was always that kid who, like, nobody ever believed how much I weighed, because even when I was skinny, like, I still weighed a lot more than what you would assume, right? Just by looking at me. So growing up, that has never really changed. I've always been the smallest in my weight category whenever, on the rare occasion that I've competed in any sort of combat. I'll be lining up looking at guys like, damn, these men are significantly bigger than me, but we weigh the same. I just carry my weight different. And the reason why this was on my mind is because I weighed in the heaviest I've ever weighed in my life recently. For the first time, I broke 98 kilos, 216 pounds, or 15.46 stone, whichever metrics you use. And yeah, it just kind of got me thinking about it, man, because, like, I'll be real with you, like, because I'm naturally predisposed to staying lean, and the way in which I live my life, like, makes it really easy for me to be lean. Like, I'm quite inconsistent with the way in which I eat. Like, I fast quite a lot. And when I say fast, I don't necessarily do entire days, but it's normal for me to do a 16, 18-hour fast 4 or 5 times a week and still get in my calories, and most of the time my protein. Combine that with training all the time and being extremely active. Like, the reality is, the only things I really like doing are active activities. I was speaking to my missus about it the other day, and it's just part of my makeup, it's part of who I am. If I think, oh, like, what should we do today? It's always something active, whether it's like go for a walk, go for a swim, go climbing, go and play a sport, so on and so forth. I'm always trying to play and be active, right? So staying lean has always been like fairly easy for me. I've always been predisposed to being lean. So weight has always been at the forefront of my mind. I've always wanted to get heavier and do it in such a way where I don't sacrifice being lean, I don't sacrifice health, and I'm able to pack on the pounds. But naturally that is difficult, right? It's not easy to do. There's a reason as to why bodybuilders do what they do. You put yourself in a dramatic surplus of calories and you get your adequate protein and you train hard, like you're gonna grow real quick. You're gonna grow a lot quicker, right? The way I go about it, trying to maintain optimal health while simultaneously putting on as much weight as I feel like my body or my frame wants to handle, it's a slow process. It's difficult. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's nowhere near as linear as, oh, I'm gonna bulk and then I'm gonna cut. So it gets tough at times, I'll be real, but it's mad rewarding when like you step on the scale and you put on weight and that baseline level of weight goes up. It's quite nice. Like, it's been a while. I don't remember the last time now I stepped on the scale and I was under 95 kilos. I've always been one to fluctuate. I've always had 2 to 3 kilos of fluctuation in me. That's just kind of standard procedure. But yeah, man, I'll be real, like I was over the moon. I'm in the back of my mind, I am chasing 100. Like, I'm looking forward to the day I step on that scale. I'm still lean and I'm hitting 3 digits. Because that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Staying lean for me is in many ways is a signifier of like general health, and the fact, and generally tells me that like, right, you're not carrying too much weight for your frame. This is just me in terms of like the way I feel and the way in which I believe it works for me. Everybody's different. Like my best friend, for example, he's been bulking for a while now and I am terrified to see him cut because he's going to be an absolute animal when he cuts. For me, a bulk has never worked. I've never been able to commit to it. I've never enjoyed it. I've never been able to endure it. So it was a while ago now that I committed to my goal of being 110 kilos by 35, which averaged out to be like 1.8 kilos a year of lean mass in the next 9 years. Because I've always felt like my frame can handle more. Like my bones definitely can handle more mass. And yeah, man, I'm interested to see where it takes me. Hopefully that 100 kilos is around the corner though, honestly. It's left me real motivated. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. Because I feel like if I stay consistent for like the next 3 months and get my calories in and keep working hard, then that 100 kilos feels like it could be around the corner. So I'm kind of excited for that. And the best part about it, I've been doing so much more cardio since the sun's come out. Since the sun's come out and I've got my bike, the amount of cardio I've been doing has gone through the roof. Yeah, I'm still packing on the pounds, which is a great thing. I can't lie, it's a great thing. But anyway, it's been a bit of a long one. So if you made it this far, thank you very, very much. And I shall see you tomorrow.